season's been going on and just how you've just progressed, where it's been pretty consistent, man.
Yeah, I think we've exceeded a lot of expectations this year as a school. We're up to, I think, 7 in the state right now, and we've bounced around the top 5 a little bit. And definitely didn't expect us to be doing this good. And it's great how hard we've been working and what we've been able to put together. So it's been a fun year so far, and hopefully we take care of business this Friday, and hopefully we can carry this momentum in the playoffs.
Well, man, I remember we talked at your signing day. You kind of had some different parts working in the season. You were going to go down to Houston and Pasadena, I think it was, in that tournament. And you said, we're trying to find ourselves. It looks like you guys are finding a pretty decent groove here lately. I mean, you just had the one tough loss to Duncanville, but there's no shame in losing at their place, by 2. So, I mean, you've got to be pretty dang on pleased about the natural progression of your team so far.
Yeah, we definitely came a long way. I think it's a credit to our coach, Coach Johnson, just because our strength of schedule is so hard before district starts. I think it just really prepares us for that, and it really helps us get ready for playoffs, which is something that not a lot of coaches do all the time, is put you against teams that, you might not win. I mean, we did really good this preseason, but in the past we haven't done as well, but it's really helped us in the long run, which is something cool that he does.
Well, competition breeds the best out of people, and that's something that I think that when you guys are out there playing those good teams and you're actually winning some of those ball games, that brings that confidence into you too. So makes it easier to practice when you've got a pretty decent team too.
Yeah, exactly. It does. And especially when we do good and even beat the good teams, it really does do a good job of boosting our team's confidence.
Well, hey, I heard you got the Zag Nation came to come see you this past Friday, but then they didn't have a game this weekend. So was it Coach Lloyd or Few? Did he come down also? I didn't know exactly who. I just saw some stuff on Twitter about it.
Yeah, it was Coach Brian Michelson that came down for the game.
Yeah, well, I guess you gave him a little bit of a show with
Yeah, it was a crazy game. It was one of those. It was a barn burner, and it was our crosstown rivals. So gym was packed, and it was a great ending and a great way to go out against those guys.
I saw the highlights. When you hit that shot out, that gym erupted. I mean, you had the student body on the court. I mean, when did you go to sleep Saturday?
I don't remember going to sleep, but that's just one of those moments I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Just have everyone storm the court. It's a special moment, and I'm glad it happened at home like it did.
Well, I remember also talking to you at your signing. You're kind of glad that the recruiting part was over. Has it been kind of nice just to be able to watch, Gonzaga play and not have to worry about dealing with coaches and this and interviews and all that? I mean, because it helped you just kind of concentrate on your senior year too?
Yeah, as grateful as I am for it all, it's nice to kind of be able to take a step back and really just kind of enjoy basketball and not have to worry about the business side of it so much.
Sure.
So I'm glad I found a new home in Gonzaga, and I'm looking forward to that.
Well, let me ask you another one thing about the Zags. I mean, I know Tilly hasn't played that much this year with the coming back for the injury. There's some hints that he may come back next year. But even if he does come back, you're probably going to lose, Hachimura, and you're probably going to lose Brandon Clark. So it sounds like to me you're ideal to come in to be a stretch four for them. Has Mark Few and the gang kind of told you a little bit about that? Not to give out any secrets.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they said what they told me the whole time was, we're bringing you in to do what you do. Just be a dog and get after it. And we believe you can play right away as long as you do what you do, regardless of who's here. So that's just kind of the mindset I took. It doesn't matter who's there. It's I got to do what I do. So I'm looking forward to that.
Outstanding. Well, hey, I know my man, the czar of hoops in the Dallas area, Mr. Paul Moran, has got a few questions for you. You got to answer him, man. I so appreciate you coming on with us on your inaugural podcast here, man. I know we had some technical difficulties. Appreciate your patience, but I'll let Paul get to you, man.
Yeah, man, that's pretty good. I want to piggyback off a little bit off of what we just talked about with Gonzaga. Man, what went into that decision, man? Gonzaga over A&M? I mean, you wouldn't tell me that before it happened, but now that his decision's been made, what drew you to Gonzaga, man? I knew you was going there all along, but we're going to go on. But go ahead. What?
just the coaching staff was amazing. And when I went up there the first time, just to see the tradition and the players that they've brought up and their developmental system, I just kind of knew it was like the perfect place for me to go. And just kind of being able to take stuff from guys like Sabonis and Collins that are in the league and stuff. It's really appealing to a player like myself because I kind of play like them. So best situation.
So you are thinking, I got to get to the league at some point, right? What's my best fit, or how am I going to get there? That's what we are thinking about. That I like that.
That's the dream. Yep.
Okay. The McDonald's All-American list. Everybody's talking about Devion Harmon getting snubbed. He ain't the only one that got snubbed. You know how I feel, man. Tell me how you feel right now.
I'm glad that people do think I'm a snub because to me it is personal. I think everybody on that list is an amazing player though, and you know I'd even make the Nike Skills Camp in the summer for all the UIBL players. They said they take the best of the best, and I'd even get invited to that. So you know it's nothing new for me. People have always been doubting me, even a lot of the people in the States sometimes. So you know, it just fueled my fire, and at the end, it's what pushes me so hard. At the end of the day, telling people you messed up here, here, and here. So I mean, it can keep happening. It's nothing new, and I just got to keep working hard and using that as motivation.
Okay, I like that. We feeling that fire a little bit, and putting that on the bulletin board right there. Remember, they messed me out of going to McDonald's All-American. We're gonna get we're gonna get that. I like that. What's next for you on Friday night? A little revenge. We're going to be like Drake on the 2016. We're looking for revenge. Is that you this week?
Oh, yeah. I owe them big time. I had a chance to tie the game up, but I missed a free throw, and I couldn't sleep that night.
You missed two free throws on, boy. Hold on. Not one.
I split them.
Oh, you split them?
Game. Yeah.
I thought you missed two, bro.
No.
Okay.
No. So I missed that last one to tie it, and I couldn't sleep that night, and I've been thinking about this game ever since that night. Right after I went to the locker room, I was like, I can't wait to play them again because I didn't have my best game, and I don't feel like as a team we played our best game.
No doubt.
And we haven't lost at home in 2 years, so I'm feeling great. You know, I got a fire, I got a bonfire inside of me right now, and I'm ready to unleash it Friday night.
Okay. What's the atmosphere at JJ Pearce right now about this game in the hallways, man? Are the student body hyped? Because I know it's going to be crunk up in there.
I've been hearing about it for about 2 weeks now. They are excited and ready to bring it. So it's going to be live out there.
Okay. I know I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get up in there. I know they better not be in my seat up in there. I know you better. I'm with Drew Timme.
I'll make sure they get the special Paul Miranda section for you.
My dog.
Just make sure you give me a stool to sit on then.
All right. Parker, you got anything for Drew, man? I mean, feel free to chime in, Jed. You got anything for him?
I'll let you go first, Parker, if you want.
Drew, kind of to build off of what they were saying about Gonzaga, kind of talk about what the coaches have told you a little bit about what your role will be next year.
Mm-hmm. Kind of what I said earlier. They expect me to come in and be able to play. They want me to be the same kind of competitor I am and be an energizer for the team. They like the fire I play with, and they really think that's a huge aspect of the team that they need to really take them to the next level.
Okay. I like that.
No, I really don't have anything, but I mean, y'all kind of said it all. But all I know is Mark Q got a good one, so
I appreciate that.
Keep on, man.
All right. Well, let me keep on then.
Represent my Gonzaga t-shirt for you. I am through a Zag Nation through. I know I'm elated that you're going up there. I watch every Zag game, so at least next year, I'll get to see all your games.
Kenny,
good.
I forgot to ask one, Kenny, because this is a little tidbit, a little bit. A lot of people know in the DFW Metroplex, some don't. Daddy went to SMU. You had an offer from SMU, and you still chose Gonzaga. Was there any pressure put on by Daddy? And we ain't snitching on him. It's just us. But what was going on in that household? You deciding to go to Gonzaga? How did he really take that?
He was so happy for me. He really thought that was the best place for me. And he not once ever said, "Hey, you should go to SMU because I went there. That'd be cool." He was kind of against that in a way. He didn't like that. He wanted to make sure that I went to the best spot for me because it's not about him, is what he was telling me. So,
man, that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
He kept telling me I thought he was bullcrapping me, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Nah.
But he was. That's good knowing right there, man. So, you talked about the Nike Skills Camp. Man, I every time I looked at you against some of them guys on that list, you kind of killed a lot of them dudes on the circuit, man. Help me understand what went on to the decision of why you getting skipped over in these kind of scenarios, man. Help me with that.
Yeah, everyone has their reasons, I guess, but I think I was one of the most productive players on the circuit this year and a key part of our team's success, and they obviously helped me. But, again, it's just fuel to the fire, and then it makes me work even harder. So in a way, I'm thankful for it, but at the same time, not happy about it. So I'm just gonna keep using it as motivation.
And still staying on that, man. Devion Harmon gets knocked out. What are your thoughts about that? He deserving of it, not deserving of it, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think he played well enough to be one for sure. He's a great player and a great competitor, and I know we've had great battles over the years. And I think there's a lot of people that got snubbed, but I do think he really is one. It's a hard list to make, and it's a lot of criteria to get even considered for that list. So I think being one of the I don't know how they broke one of the 800 nominees. I think it's a big deal within itself.
Okay. Well, a lot of them are friendly picks, as I like to say. Friend of a friend. There's only like about 25 to 35 that really deserve about that. But I'm not going to create that topic right now. But
I'm not going to comment on that one either.
We're going to let them have that, all right? So, but you saw a lot of the national point guards. You're a lot more than I did. I'm going to be real and tell you that. I'm more of a state, local guy, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like you. But tell me at the point guards that made that right now. Tyrese was one of them,
Yeah.
He definitely deserved them. I'm not going to say that he didn't deserve that at all, but outside of Tyrese, those guys that you see on that list, where do you think Devion compared on that? So, you're an analyst right now. I'm preparing you for your next job, man, after the NBA. You're going to be around. You're going to be the robo of the NBA when it's all said and done. So give me your analysis on that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think you can go wrong with anybody. Everyone's obviously proved themselves on their circuit that they are in. So I think it just comes down to what the committee thought was best. Because I think you could take anybody. I think the McDonald's list should be a little bigger, or maybe even like 2 McDonald's games. There's just so many good people in the nation that it's really hard to pick a top, 24, I think.
Okay. Yeah, 24. So the Jordan's brand game, man, what do you think? You think you got a shot again at the Jordan's brand game? I mean, they give a lot of more. They give away them Jordans left and right. I know you want to get in that, right?
Obviously, want the kicks, but
yeah.
I think I have a good shot.
13.
Yeah. I think I have a good shot, and I think I put myself in a position where I need to be looked at seriously. And I think over the summer I did a good job of making a name for myself, and this high school season carrying over that momentum. And I hope so, but at the end of the day, I just got to keep working, and if I make it or not, if I don't make it, I'm going to let everyone know later on in life. So when I do make it, so I mean, it is what it is.
I told you when I first saw you, brother, you got a chance to go play this game a long time, even get a paycheck on this. Before I let you go, I want you to give a little a synopsis of basically what the team, what can we expect Friday night from your teammates? Give a little Get a little love to the people that help you be Drew Timme right now.
Oh, the team, man, they're so excited. We're gonna go balls out for this game. This is a playoff level game for us. I mean, it really is a state matchup, a state final matchup. It's a 1v7. I think they have us ranked.
Okay.
And I know that this is a huge game, not only for us but for prepping for playoffs. Kind of like I've been saying the whole time. It's especially the atmosphere is going to be wild. So I know we're all excited, and everyone wants a piece of Duncanville, especially after that heartbreaking loss we had. So we're all excited, and we're going to give it our all.
Who can I, because you're not getting to where I want to get you on this. Who can I just say, hey, you know what? Look out for this dude tonight. On this night, this guy might end up doing it. If this dude does with this, we're going to do some damage. Give me that guy.
Okay, so I think of it as a team, if we hit threes, we're really dangerous. And then I'm going to say three guys.
Go ahead.
Sterling Hopkins, Brayson Richardson, and Chosen Amadi, because they're going to have the assignment of guarding Jemias, and all three of them will. And I think that if they play good defense, which they're all known for, I think we can win the game if they play smart, good defense. Because Jemias is really good at drawing fouls and creating contact. Played with them, and so I think if them three, when they get assigned to them, can really D him up and get up in him and frustrate him, I think that'd be crucial for the game.
Okay. And speaking of Jemias, what was that like the first time? You guys obviously played the summer together with Drive Nation. Shout out to Jermaine O'Neal and the Drive Nation crew and so forth. What has that been like that first time? And then after that, what's it going to be like Friday night? Is we going to see all that friendly stuff y'all was doing that last time, or was this for all the chips? Talk to me on what you're doing on that. What your plan is on that.
I mean, it's all fun. It's all fun on the court for me.
Right.
I mean, I like to use that aspect of I'm not your typical. I talk a lot of trash, but at the same time, I like to play the mental game. So I'll talk to you about random stuff just to get you off focus. So it was a little bit more of that than friendly, because on the court, it doesn't matter who you are personally. Right. But in the game, no matter what, we're still brothers, and we're still gonna work out together and be friends and hang out like we do. But when that ball gets thrown in there, it's all business, and don't care if you're my friend or not. You can't stand in our way. So
we're not gonna see no Magic Johnson and Isaiah kissing, on the game thing between y'all, right?
No way. No chance.
I'm just making sure of that. Hey, Kenny, you wasn't there when we did the Duncanville Pearce game, the first matchup. And my favorite quote from a basketball player that I have witnessed playing actually came from Assassin's Creed, Drew Timme, right here. Dude was snatched it off the glass, said, I'm brought the ball up himself and said, I'll show you how to play point guard.
Is that the one where he went behind his back and dunked?
He looked at him like, did he just say that? I was like, he did just say that. I think I'm too strong lately, man.
They need to change my position on the recruiting sites. It's point forward.
Point forward, yes.
Like that. I was gonna call you point guard for real, man. 6'10", right? 6'9", whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think you just put in the work. Man, that pretty much wraps it up for me, man, Drew. I really appreciate you coming on. Guys, if you don't have anything.
All right, Drew. Hey, I was just going to say, man, we appreciate you giving us some time, man. I was really, I know you get badgered for these kind of things, but, man, Paul and I have always wanted to have a little sit down and chat with you, man. We've really, from afar, but enjoyed watching your game and seeing you mature and making such a, mature decision. The way you handled the recruiting process, I thought was, exemplary. I mean, I really did. I thought your parents being involved, but, allowing you to do the decision, that was something that, it was nice to see that from afar.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, and I especially want to thank the two of you guys, especially Paul, one of the first people ever to get on me and really make it help build my name up, and that's huge, and I really appreciate that. So anything y'all need, y'all just let me know, and I got you.
Man, we will see you in that hot box
Good
on
luck.
Friday night. I can't wait. I know the Pearce faithful is going to be there, and I know those Panthers from Duncanville. That faithful's going to be there too. I think it's going to be one of the biggest games here in the Metroplex this year, and I'm just glad I'm a small part of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Keep doing you, Drew.
Yes, sir.
We'll
Thank
see
you, guys.
Friday.
All right. Man, dude, my eyes almost started getting watered up again on this kid, dude. It's like watching, seriously, I don't know if you two got kids, Jared and Parker, but
No.
that's when
Not yet.
when you end up having kids, man, and you watch them grow, you see the maturity, from little kid to here. I've seen Drew since 7th, 8th grade, since he was 7th, 8th grade, and just man crush on this kid's game, seriously, in a basketball way. I need to be careful how I say that right now, right? Because referees here getting up for having high school girls. We're not going to do that
I
tonight.
got a few million people watching. No big deal.
But just watching him, y'all, turn into this player, and to know that I was, and I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody say, I was the first guy talking about Drew Timme since the very beginning. You understand what I'm saying? And to see him explode into this, a guy that nobody said anything about, and now, oh man, I'm like a proud papa right now. I walk in the gym, when I see him, my chest is big, my hands are big, and they out to the side. You flex it a little bit. That's me when you see me around Drew Timme, man. So great stuff seeing this kid explode into what he is right now.
Yeah, you guys have to go look up some of his highlights, man. It's worth the watch. It's worth the watch, man. It's worth
See
In
him.
this basketball game,
Skills.
guys. In this basketball game, guys, the AAU side of the recruiting side of it, I'm in the thick of things. I hear, this talk and that talk, and so I talk to the college coaches, and then you hear the story about Drew Timme's Matt Timme, SMU, former SMU grad. Is he going to SMU? Oh, he's going. His daddy going to have him going to SMU. Blah blah blah. And to hear him tell us how his dad said he never came to him about going to SMU. Kenny, that's awesome stuff right there on behalf of Timme.
He's one of the most honest superstars you'll find, and that's what I like about him, because he's grounded. I mean, the kid is grounded. I went to a signing day, and I mean the gym is packed at 7:30 in the morning on a cold morning. It's standing room only. And you can tell how revered the kid is. And I honestly could say this. It starts at the top with his parents. His parents are just wonderful people. They're so grounded. It's, and every time I've had a discussion with them, either via Twitter or just talking face to face, you can see that apple didn't fall from that apple tree. Man, it's
shout out to Tim and Martha Timme for that, man. So that's who we're in reference about. I'm trying to find the little brother's name, and I know I'm going to get killed or slammed.
It's Matt.
Is it little Matt?
I thought it was little Matt. Yeah, I thought it was Matthew.
I don't know
There's
why
another one.
I wanted to call. Yeah. And he's got the best reverse layup in town for a 6'5" kid, right? 6'4" kid right now. So he's got that a little underneath the basket, come from the left side to the right side, down pack, man. So looking forward to seeing his growth as well, coming down the stretch, man. Hey, can I drop the bomb, Kenny?
Well, hold on. Let me go in and start it off here real quick. We can get it started since we kind of did reverse order. We got Drew in here first on the podcast. I want to kind of introduce the podcast to everybody, and then I'll get to you, Paul, here in a minute, and you can drop that bomb. Hey, we just want to say welcome to our very first FNG podcast, the Hoops podcast, I should say. I've got my buddy Parker Turley over here. I got Jared Gamble and the czar, Paul Miranda, here. We just got off of doing an interview with Drew Timme. A top 25 guy in the country, going to Zagland up there. He is a wonderful player. So we're hoping in the future when we do these things, we're going to be able to grab some of these great local talent that we've got here, get them in here, talk to them, have some candid discussions, It's people that you see all the time that I think you're going to have a really good time, and just seeing the the outside of the hoops of them. You know, Drew, as we call him there, you know, a relaxed, kind of a funny guy, got a nice sense of humor. You know, sometimes you don't get to see that when you just go to their games and see them play. So, you know, we want to give you more of the personal touch. And we hope to do that here with F&G, you know, Hoops podcast. We're also going to bring you insight to games. We're going to give you predictions on some of the games. We're also going to give you playoff coverage all the way to the regional finals. We can't do the regional finals or the finals live. That's a UIL deal, so that's not us. So don't get mad at us. You say, hey, why aren't you doing the regional finals at Wilkinson Grimes this weekend? Not allowed to. So, but we're going to do women's games. We're going to do guys' games here in the playoffs. We'll be spread out here a little bit. So just check the website, FridayNightGlory.com. You'll get our schedule, and it'll show us where we're going to be. We're also going to, you know, we talked a little bit about doing the recruiting side of things. We'll ease that in and out. But we want to have a local flavor with that, obviously. I think that's kind of our niche here. We'll go national when we can, but we want to make sure that the people here in our own backyard get some publicity. You know, I think that's kind of the key to get these guys' names out there a little bit. Like Drew Timme said earlier, you know, Paul got his name out there a little bit. Boom. Guy blows up. You know, he's top 25 recruit in the country. You know, it's just the little things sometimes can be big for some of these people, but you can be like Drew Timme and be so appreciative of that. So, you know, I will rely on my younger guys like Jared and Parker. You know, they got relationships with these athletes. You know, they walk the halls with these guys. I'm just an old fart. I don't walk those halls anymore. That's been a long time ago. So, you know, all I can do is read up all that stuff. But, you know, these guys have relations. So, you know, we're going to hope to bring some of that here on the podcast here. We'll try not to make it, you know, an hour and a half type podcast every week. But, make it simple, short. But, you know, let's get some flavor in here with some, you know, some really – because we are blessed between Fort Worth and Dallas to have great basketball talent. I mean, it wasn't like this when I was going to high school 35 years ago. I mean, you had one or two guys in the area that went and did something, and that's about it. Man, you go to a team and got 5 or 6 guys now. So the landscape has changed big time on, you know, high school basketball. So, you know, let's embrace that, you know, and use some of our relationships, and I think we can bring you some variety, and also I think we can give you some originality to some of these podcasts, and that's what I want. Let's be a little different than everybody else. I don't have to dictate the conversation. You guys got something, man, blow it up and go. I could care less. You know, I checked that ego out the door a long time ago. So let's bring it. Let's have some fun. So I'll first say, let's do this. Let's go to Paul with the bomb. Then I'll go to Parker. We'll talk about South Grand Prairie, Mansfield. All right, Paul, lay it on us.
Man, you know, I pride myself in this game and bringing, and I don't want to sound like I'm the black Donald Trump or anything like that, Orange 45, whatever. But I like bringing a good white kid to the table. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, my dude Andrew was one of my guys, and I go into my bag with my WBs. I like to call them my white boys, right? I bring my bag out. Caleb Lohner is next on my list. Y'all remember Caleb Lohner, right? Flowermouth?
Oh, yeah.
Just transferred.
Long hair.
Just transferred out of Flowermouth. Yes.
Really?
Kenny, you're going to have to help me out with this school because I can't never pronounce it. Ouachita in Utah? Or is it Utah or Colorado? What's Ouachita? The one that my man Trey Williams is with. Trey Williams is, Trey Williams from formerly of the Colony. That's cool. Well,
yeah, his sister is Jade Williams. It was McDonald.
That's that Duke.
Duke.
Yep.
Doing extremely well. I'm there. Yeah. Wow.
We just saw, Jed, I think you was there with us. We just saw Caleb Lohner 2 weeks ago against Louisville. And he has up and transferred, man. And man, I probably should have talked with you about this, so I'm not going to go into the full detail and drop the T on what was going on that scenario. But
that's big. I mean, well, Paul, I think we were kind of amazed when we met Jared a couple of weeks ago at the Louisville game that team wasn't better than what they actually were. And it was kind of the first time I saw Caleb playing where he didn't look like he was having fun. And I mean, I'm not trying to read into it too much now into it, but Caleb wasn't Caleb that day. Didn't look like.
I could piggyback off that. like, yeah, I noticed that too. It seems like he didn't have the ball as much as I thought he would. It feels like if he did, it was mainly post only. Seeing him warm ups, he can handle the ball. He got a pretty shot.
Absolutely.
His stroke, his form is it's perfect already. So it just feels like he didn't touch the ball enough for when I was there. So yeah, that's what I was like. Because he's so good, I thought they'd be a little better, or that could go to not having fun or something.
Now, with that said, Kenny, I got to pose the question though, man. This is the age of the star athlete getting preferential treatment, or better yet, asking, how can I get better? You always want a kid to ask himself and the people that are in charge of his game as far as helping him get to the next level. What can he do to get better? And when the coach is not returning the calls for that, what do we say to that on the outside, y'all?
I think you do everything you can to kind of resolve the situation in hand. But if you don't, if you keep hitting that brick wall, time to go on and open that door, jump over it. I mean, to me, it's that simple. But I do think that you do owe your team, you owe those guys that you've been sweating and doing all that stuff in the off season and the summer to play with. You owe it to them. But sooner or later, all the accountability goes on yourself.
Yeah. Now, some coaches would like to believe that, hey, man, no one player is bigger than the team.
Sure. Yeah. And we've seen that enough to know that if you allow one person to do a whole lot of things that the other team can't, you get resentment. Then it's not a team. And I mean, to me, that's the biggest problem we have maybe with this transfer thing here we've got going on now. It comes off as being selfish, and it's not team oriented.
Yes.
I don't know what that delicate balance is between the two. Unfortunately, I don't have that because every situation is different. But for team loyalty, that seems like that's taken a back seat to a lot of this transfer stuff. And it is all about super teams, this, going here and playing this and get this notoriety. And maybe I'm just too old to miss the loop on that. But I know that my fun playing my 2 years in high school is those teammates. And I'm still very good friends with those guys 30-some years later.
Yeah, different game, different era.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a different era. It's a different game because everybody thinks that they're going to get some form of scholarship at the next level now.
I think it's easier for players. Oh, no. Yeah, now on that, I think it's easier for players to feel like they can leave now just because of like social media. Because you see all these college players and everybody they support it. Like if he wants to go on, he goes on. Let him do that. Coaches can leave, so why can't players leave? So I think like on the player aspect, I think they feel like it's easier now because you have, I guess, more support, more people behind you supporting your decision. So I think it's just a little bit easier for them to make that decision now than maybe back in the day.
Yeah, Jed, I got to ask you because you're somewhat a newbie on this a little bit. All right. And you saw Caleb Lohner. Does he appear to seem like the kind of star player that's going to be too demanding or irritable to the point to where you don't take his calls as a coach? Does he appear that way? Because I'm biased. I love the kid. I don't know the coach too well, but I'm just asking you. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. No,
he didn't appear to be nothing like that. How about you, Ren? I mean, Kenny.
It just that whole night, he just seemed like it was just maybe distracted's the best word for me. Seemed like he was just a little distracted. It doesn't. I'm not saying that's why I say I don't want to read into knowing what's happening now. Yeah. He just seemed distracted. He didn't seem to be the Caleb that we saw several times last year. Smiling, him and the guard. I mean, they were having fun. So much so that we thought that was going to be a very good basketball team this year.
You and I were surprised to see that record that they brought in that night. We was like, wait a minute, what is going on? They got pieces here. How are they losing like this?
That was mind-boggling to me. So now it does seem like that there was a lot more there than, obviously – we'll
definitely have to bring that topic to the forefront because actually it's kind of a trend that's brewing right now People
Absolutely.
leaving left and right. You had Jay Wilson of Denton, right? Remember, he pulled out, he played Tuesday night. He transferred Wednesday. He's at entrepreneur school, high school. We call it high school out in Louisville. Brian Wick is the head coach over there, one of the new, I don't know if it's a charter school or whatever, but he left.
Coppell had a guy that went there too, didn't he?
Yeah, Quavian Adger. He's over there as well. I mean, you got Jaquan Scott, who left Mansfield Timberview right before the season started, right? And he's over there at Universal Academy. I mean,
didn't someone from Geyer just transfer recently? The sophomore.
Geyer?
Yeah. One of their players.
If it ain't Davion Harmon or Jay.
No, yeah, wasn't Dave. He came from Denton High. He got like newcomer of the year last year, but he transferred as well.
Nobody else matters on that team after that.
Besides the little big three.
No, Tyler McGuire can stroke.
Yeah,
Tyler McGuire.
That's my boy. I grew up with him,
so that's my dude there, man. So shout out to him and the Titans. As we go forward, guys, you'll see me shouting out to a lot of the AAU programs that these kids play for. That's a good program right there. So that's another topic that we're going to have to shelve and probably, open that up, man, for people to chime in down the road.
Well, I was also going to say, we can also, have people hit us up on Twitter. If you want to talk about things, you got topics that you want to talk about, man, feel free to hit us up, man. We're open. I mean, I've got a little run sheet here, but, this means nothing. We get good topics to talk about. We can run with them. I'd rather it kind of be a little, off base sometimes. I'd rather it be that way because I think it's more genuine for us to have these kind of discussions about things that maybe people are afraid to talk about.
Yeah.
I think the transfer thing is one of those taboo things to talk about. It's great when you hear somebody's leaving or whatever, but we don't want to. It's an epidemic, or it's becoming an epidemic now.
Right. And one of the things we definitely want to do on that, Kenny, is to be able to help fix these kind of trending problems right now. They try to help the community. Yeah, that's what I know. That's what I do this for. The Real Talk Nation is always trying to find ways to improve our basketball hoops culture. You know what I'm saying? So, here in the Metroplex, which hopefully we can spread to the state and hopefully end up going nationally to. Well, the global people don't need that. They're so much supposedly ahead of the American game right now. So we don't need to worry about the global people because, we're too uppity for them. So, but yeah, I mean, we definitely want to keep that in mind going forth. And that's some of the stuff that, we definitely need to make sure that we're not walking on any eggshells here.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm step all on them. I heavy feet. I can't, I can't tiptoe around nothing, so you might need to mute me every now and then, Jared.
Well, why don't we go on and move over to Parker? Parker, Turley, you were at the South Grand Prairie Mansfield game last Friday night. South Grand Prairie kind of took care of their business like kind of we expected. Can you talk a little bit about the atmosphere, what you saw, and then we'll also kind of talk about the game I think you're going to be doing on Friday night. That'll be Louisville and Hebron.
Well, Southern Prairie, they have the lone senior, Carlin Kenner. He was spectacular. I think his on-ball defense, I think his leadership is the best thing about him. He gets those younger guys ready to play. And Chris Turner, he's a very complete player. He can shoot the three. I think the biggest thing I saw of that game, anytime Mansfield battled back, Chris Turner or Carlin Kenner hit a three-pointer. Standstill threes was the key to that game. And the Mansfield tried to get it going in their post, but they only had Talby Justice was the only player that got going for them. He scored 26 for Mansfield, and that still wasn't enough. He hit like 14. He made 14 free throws. He was getting to the free throw line.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah. And
wait a minute. What was his name again?
They have a lot of young pieces.
Justice, right?
The one for Mansfield?
Yes.
Yeah. 14
Talby.
Yeah.
Talby Justice.
Yeah, Talby Justice. Yeah, Talby Justice. I thought
he transferred. He actually transferred from Lake Ridge because he was a year younger than I was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
He actually transferred from Lake Ridge to Mansfield.
Huh.
Okay.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, for his senior year.
With the theme of transfer. But go ahead. Sorry.
I got to get on the floor, man.
And Michael Wright Jr., he came up big. He hit 3-pointers all night long. And I think their defense, that full court press really got to Mansfield. They were turning the ball over. There was a stretch in the second quarter where Mansfield didn't score a point for 6 straight minutes. And South Grand Prairie's defense was just all up in their grill, and Mansfield wasn't having any of it. Okay. But I really think that the X factor is Carlin Kenner, because he's the lone senior. He plays the chip on his shoulder.
Absolutely.
And it seems like the younger guys feed off. They're sitting at 4th in the district right now, but
district
within the game. And Brandon Bennett, great coach. He really gets those guys ready to play, and he really coaches hard. You can see them all energetic on the sideline, getting his guys ready to play defense. I talked to him after the game. He talked about they pride themselves on defense, man to man. My guy's better than your guy. Mm-hmm. And he talks about the senior, Carlin Kenner, again. He just talks about his leadership, how all the guys really just love how he plays with the chip, and they feed off of him.
Okay. Hey, Parker, let me ask you, man. Definitely great stuff there. Got to give you that. Brandon Bennett is a good friend of mine, man. Great coach. I love him to death. They play hard-nosed defense. That whole district, well, it used to be that whole district when you had Duncanville, Cedar Hill, DeSoto in there. Trust me, that's my district right there. So I kind of already know what you're saying on that. But Carlin Kenner, man, I know a couple of coaches inquiring about him. Talk to me about what you saw, the jump shot. I mean, how consistent was he with the jump shot? Because that's kind of the question mark right now. What did you see?
Friday, he found his shot. Actually, he was hitting the 3-pointer from the corner. He was hitting that. He's got a nice lefty stroke. He struggled in the first quarter, but as the game went on, he's a great driver. He's an elite driver.
And he's left-handed.
And get
Yep.
Buckets, lefty. But his jump shot, he was working the mid-range, and it looked like he was getting it to go in later in the game. As the game got on, he got stronger, and he was hitting his shots. He had 14 points, and Chris Turner had 15 points. Carlin really, his jump shot, I feel like he's not as consistent right now, but as the game goes on, it seems like
got better.
He kind of builds off his energy.
Okay. Christian Turner's another guy that's high on the rise around there, 6'7" forward right now, man. Got a couple of inches. He just made an announcement that he's going to go play in San Antonio for Under Armour, Texas Hard Work AAU program. So big kudos to him and Lupe Nunez for picking up another Dallas kid to come play for his squad down there. What did you think of his toughness in the paint, man? Is he gonna be a rim protected kind of guy? I mean, what are you saying on that?
He is a rim protector. He had 5 blocked shots in that game. He's not afraid to get up in your grill and talk a little trash. He was blocking. He had 5 blocks, like I said, but his impressive switching on the defense, that was really impressive. He was able to guard some smaller guards, and he was able to stay with them and fluster them into bad shot choices. So
okay. Now, me and you haven't talked about this, right? This is not scripted. I got to ask you this question, and I had to throw that disclaimer out there that it wasn't scripted because I told you Brandon Bennett is a good friend of mine, man. What did you think of the son, Caden Bennett, the freshman? How did he do anything in this game? Because when I was there, I watched him play against Grand Prairie, and he was solid. I think he had like 15 points in that game. What did you see from the freshman?
he came off the bench. He gave them great energy. He plays great defense. He was a great driver. I think he scored 6 points in limited minutes because they rode with the older guys. But I talked to him after the game. He was talking about his son development and learning from Carlin. He really thinks it's improved his game, and he had a couple assists. He played great defense, and he just talked about developing his son into a great player.
Okay. Shannon Lowry from Mansfield. Anything that may have wowed you on him, or he didn't stand out?
He didn't. He struggled. He was really. Their defense really. South Grand Prairie's defense really had Mansfield. They couldn't score. Second half, really, they struggled really bad. They were shooting. There were 2 stretches, second quarter and fourth quarter, where it was like 5 minutes where they couldn't hit a shot. They were just riding their senior Talby.
Okay.
Because he had 26. He wasn't hitting his shots. He looked a little on his pull-up jumpers. I think he settled a little bit where he could have drove.
Okay. Solid report, man. I like that. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Well, hey, Parker, I'll let you chime in. I'm going to ask Jared a little bit about the Geyer and Keller game, but then I'm going to talk about the Louisville Hebron game that you guys look like y'all are probably going to be doing on Friday. So I'll let you chime in after I've talked to Jared here a little bit about it. Jared, I mean, you had Ditton Geyer and Keller. Keller, I mean, I've known the coach there, Coach Durant, for a long time there. He was a little worried about that trip they were going to make up to Denton last Friday, and kind of ran into a buzzsaw, a very motivated Geyer team. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about how they came out, and obviously talk about Davion Harmon's big game that he had on Friday?
Yeah. They came to start the game. That whole first quarter, Keller was actually in it. Geyer kind of started off. Now, they were hitting shots because, like Davion, he started off 6 for 6. He had 13 points. He was knocking down his tray ball. Like he was pulling up deep. But Keller would keep countering. They would counter. They're getting bugged. I believe it was 6-20. It was like a 4-point game at the end of the first quarter. And I could tell Coach Long wasn't pleased at all. So going into the second quarter, that's when Geyer. That's when it got ugly. That was one of the best complete games because I'm an alum from there, so I go to a lot of their games.
Sorry to hear that. No, I'm playing.
No, but that's how they were. That was one of the most complete games I've seen them play. They just after that first quarter, they probably let up 30 points maybe the rest of the game, and then Davion had a big first quarter, like I said, 6 for 6, and then Jalen in that third quarter, man, he hit 4 threes in a row. Like I'm talking all in a row, and he's pulling up deep. So that was just it was electric. Like it was every other shot. There was just a 3-ball, and if their 3-ball's going, Geyer, other teams are in trouble because they could push the pace at day one, get on fast break with Davion leading the charge.
Well, they're a team if they hit their threes, they get to the hole too because they can drive. They beat you off the dribble, so they're a matchup nightmare at that point in time if they're hitting.
And even Tyler McGuy, he had a big third quarter, knocking down a couple threes. Like you said, getting to the hole. He got
brought him up because I think he's the key to their team. I think that's the guy that if he gets on a roll here in the playoffs, that's a weapon that's not. Well, it's not getting game planned for. Let's say that because you're game planning for the other 3. And I mean, that's a guy that I think that can win this in playoff games alone by his play.
Oh, if he gets hot, and you can look up the score, you could be up 1, and you look up 20 seconds later, he's got 3 threes. So he's the type of guy because the way Davion penetrates, you have Ty in the corner. Anytime he penetrates, the defense going to collapse on Davion. You don't want him trying to, get to the cup or anything like that. So he's right in that corner, and it's just you can't really do that much when you got that much star power on the team. It's kind of tough to do. But yeah, he's definitely a key part of this team.
Well, my point kind of was earlier saying you got a motivated, Ditton Geyer team. I thought looked like they had a little of the chip on their shoulder a little bit, with Wilson motivated to play the other night, Harmon motivated to play the other night. this is a team that I think can be an enigma at times. They're so talented that they don't seem like they play with the right gusto from night to night. But if you get that team motivated like they were on Friday night, is there anybody that can beat them?
Nah, it'd be real hard. No, I'm gonna keep it simple. Duncanville's tough, but Geyer, I can see where they're motivated. It looks like they're hitting their stride. It looks like they know they're inching towards the playoffs. It looks like they're hitting their stride at the perfect time. And they're like, this is time to boil down, time to stop messing around, time to focus on things that we know that's going to carry us in playoffs, keep getting better at. And it looks like they were on one. They really were.
Bruce Lee had a movie called Enter the Dragon, Jack. And this guy, big muscle guy, came out. I don't know if you've seen this or not. The muscle guy named Polo come out there, right? This guy, real, he get ready to fight. It's squaring it off, right? When they get ready to have karate match, you got to bow and all that, Polo, he's the bully guy, right? He comes out with a 2x4 plank, right? Board, right? Okay. Pulls that thing up. He says, yeah! And he breaks that board, snaps it. Bruce Lee comes and looks at him and he says, boards don't hit back.
Okay.
You follow what I'm trying to tell you right now?
Yeah, I'm following. Yeah.
Get off the skateboard, man.
Yeah.
Those guys got to get tougher out in Dengar right now. Every time they come to the South, that board hits back. You can put up 100 points on them teams out there, And I'm not dogging Keller out because Keller's. I love Randall Durant. He's a great dude. What's my guy named Haddock? What's the dude's name? The point guard for Keller? Preston Hanna. Preston Hanna's my dude. My guy. You know what I'm saying? But that is not overall a team that's going to defend you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be in your head. And say, I don't care if you Mr. USA basketball. Ooh, I sure don't care about your pretty self going to Michigan State or Michigan, wherever Houston's going to. Out here on the South Side, they don't care about all that. And that's why they struggle every playoff year. For the last 2 years, we've seen it. 3 years, right, Renell? 3, they struggled, limped through the playoffs last year, barely getting through, and finally got popped by Allen.
Yeah.
Against a team like that.
They gotta get some grit down and get some dog in them. Which I think I have it. I just think, like you said, all these teams over here, these Kellers, these South Lakes, it's a little different than playing the Duncanvilles, playing the the other teams down in the Dallas area that are gonna be dogs. They're gonna play physical. They're not just gonna shoot threes and just not pull up from 30 feet every time. They're going to get at you. They're going to talk a little noise. But no, I think Geyer, they just got to respond to that, which I think they can. I think, Davion's a dog himself.
That's the only one right now. That's the one that I say right in there. That's the alpha. Where is, who else is going to be that?
Well,
that's something they got to prove.
I can make it even simpler than that. I think if Damian takes over that team and just gets them getting good shots, they'll do well. That's a team that has a balancing act of getting good shots or taking bad shots. Okay. They're too talented to keep taking all those off-balance jumpers, from 20 feet. They just run the offense and get good shots time after time after time on their possessions. They're going to be a tough out.
For sure.
Yeah, let me also ask you about Jacoby Coles, man, because you guys talked about my guy being the X factor in here. I need to know, because I like predictions, and I like being on point with my predictions. So I need to know, man. I need your help with this, man. Where was he at as far as his buckets, inside or outside?
Oh, Jacoby's real skilled.
Think about it now. Though. I need to know what he was doing the other night. Was he inside or outside?
No, he was inside for the most. He got in foul trouble the other night, so he had 3 fouls in 5 minutes left in the second. So we didn't get to see a good glimpse of him and his aggression, really. But no, he was hitting that turnaround fadeaway, knocked it down a couple of threes. So I mean, it was inside outside last game. It was the foul trouble hurt, but he's so unique because I think he can, that his little fadeaway, his little jumper in the middle, if they give it to him, he's deadly, I think, from either, in, out, middle in his game. He can dribble the ball. He can dribble down the court, pass. He's so unique.
Okay. So
junior, too.
Yep. You got a great, bright future, no doubt about that. But Jacoby Coles, if you're watching this, I need you to keep your butt inside that paint and get some buckets inside, earn your paycheck inside. I don't need you outside. I know. Hey, guys, I tell him this all the time. And I'm telling him face to face right now on the Skype, Jacoby Coles, get your butt inside that paint, and you already got Jalen and Ty out there hitting the threes. You get inside and make things happen, and then next year, man, you're going to do what you want to do on that next year. I don't know if you guys going to be a contender like you are right now next year, but while you are a contender right now, you got to play big, and that's going to be the key for Denton Guyer if they're going to go anywhere, because you just said it. Foul trouble got him in trouble where you couldn't really give a good analysis of it. All right. So now my question is, Keller, what big do they have, Keller, and how big is he? How big was it? You understand what I'm saying?
6'4".
Can't get in foul trouble against that kind of. It's kind of like we talked about Big City Sam Freeman last night, Kenny. You can't. You just got to play big, hands up. Don't try to do too much, getting into the body. Just make them think you trying to block the shot. You know what I'm saying? And Jacoby's got to do that on the inside. I wasn't even talking about his defense, but that's kind of not good to hear that he's getting in foul trouble against Keller. You understand what I'm saying? Because when he plays South Grand Prairie, Duncanville, and all them teams out there, guess what? They ain't scared of him. Plus he light skinned, Kenny. They ain't fair no light skinned brothers these days. You know what I'm saying? So, and Jalen, hey man, we, you know how we are, man. We light skinned. We trying to, look pretty too, right?
I think Jacoby got some dog in him.
Yeah,
he got it. I think you do.
I think what happens with them, and I don't mean to be like, I think that with the Denton guy, the expectations are so raised because we see the rankings, we see the talent, on there. So you go watch a game and one of them's not playing well, they probably gets a little too much scrutiny. When one has a great game, he probably gets too many accolades. I think that it's perception's not right. It's a good basketball team. If they just play a little smarter and get good shots, we're talking about them being a great team. But individuality at times takes that away from the team element of that. And I think that's not their fault that we perceive them that way. And we have these envisions of how this talent should be played out. That's wrong. It's it's up for Coach Long to make sure that those guys play within themselves and as a team. And if he does that, he's going to make a run. There's no
way. You kind of said earlier how if they're dangerous if Davion's getting his teammates open looks. That's what I noticed last game. It was against Keller, but man, probably had 4 or 5 assists in the first quarter. And when he's playing like that, because he was really dictating that game. Like he was, I'm the guard, I'm the point guard, I'm dictating the game. He was finding because a lot of the role players had 4 to 5 points, outside of the starting 5. So I like what I saw there. He was really dictating, moving the ball around, getting his open shot, penetrating, and all that. That's what I liked from him last game.
Okay. I did hear some rumblings because I be having my ears to the pavement every now and then, and my peeps in the streets had kind of hit me off with some things about some dissension in the stands among some of the parents, and so here's what I want to say, because that kind of stuff happens in many high schools, okay? Especially when, as you said, Kenny, the expectations are high, real high in Denton Guyer for obvious reasons. They've got a USA basketball 2-time gold Olympic, not Olympic, medalist. But gold medalist in Davion Harmon, who has, really picked up a lot of love, right? You got Jalen Wilson, who's going to Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Jacoby Coles that's still trying to find where he's going to end up going, Tyler McGuy, and so forth. Parents, you can hurt this process. I'm not talking to anyone in particular, and I want to make sure that they looking at me on this because I'm talking to the parents right now. I've won a state championship before, and trust me, even at DeSoto, it wasn't easy. We had dissension in our locker, in the stands. I'm going to tell you something. If your kids are to get that gold ring, y'all better quit that stuff in the stands and start cheering all the kids on, not just your boy, but all your kids. Right. You know what I'm saying? For that team to win. Because if you guys don't have it in the stands, trust me, those kids are going to see that. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to take that towards that parent's kid. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it happen. So I know I'm going off in the stands again, Kenny, a little bit off topic a little bit, but I'm talking about what's the keys to Denton Guy getting over that hump, because I have all kind of love for Grant Long. That is my dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's one of my coaches right there. And I feel like, I want to help that other stuff, that stuff that I can see that he can't really see or can't say nothing about, right? Because you got to play every side of the fence right as a coach. See, I don't care. I'm gonna knock the fence down. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's gonna take for that team to win. A, Kobe, get in the paint. B, Jalen, knock down shots. Don't worry about who getting to shoot what. When the ball come to you and you open, then shoot it. Don't force nothing. Yeah. Make things happen. Make plays happen. Davion, involve your teammates. Jared just said it big time. And I'm a huge Davion Harmon fan. I don't think there's anybody in town that loves this kid any more than me other than his own two parents right now, and maybe Grant Long. And, but I'm that next dude with Davion Harmon. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make people love you. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, not the people in the stands, Davion, you got to make your teammates love you. You know what I'm saying? That's the next step for him taking his game to the next level to hopefully get one of those rings. Maybe next week I'll have my ring out for y'all so y'all can see what a state championship ring look like. So I'm good on that, Kenny.
Yeah. Well, hey, briefly, I wanted to get your two guys' opinions on the game coming up that you're going to probably be doing on Friday night. That's going to be Louisville playing Hebron. A couple neighbors getting after each other. I mean, Louisville is 8-2 in district. Hebron, I believe, is 7-3. So, and they're behind Coppell, who's 9-1 in district there. So, I mean, that's a close district race. Not only, I believe, 4 more games left. So, I mean, you don't want to lose anything going forward here. Can you talk a little bit, guys? And like I said, let's go briefly. I know we've gone a little bit longer than we probably were originally going to go. So, just give me your analysis here from you two guys. I'll go Parker first.
You go Parker first? Yeah.
Well, I think obviously it's a must-win for Hebron if they want to win that district, obviously, because it's so tight. Every game matters. Yep. But I think the key is Hebron has to D up the stud freshman of Louisville. And I really think it's going to come down to just who wants it more. Just when it gets down to playoff time, it always comes down to that.
And he doesn't play like a freshman.
No.
Yeah, not at all. He plays like a veteran senior.
When I saw him the first time, when I was at that game with y'all, Paul and Kenny, I looked at the sheet. The guy next to me said freshman. I was like, there's no way that dude's a freshman. And no, he was a freshman. I was like, geez, that dude, yeah, going into that game, I haven't really watched much of Hebron. So, but they got, a really good guard, right? Supposedly?
Yeah, Evan Anderson.
A really good guard, but I don't know much about the other. But Louisville, they got a lot of athletes everywhere. And then, Keontae, then, KJ, solid player too. Yeah, they might just have too much. The key, I guess, for them is really just push the tempo, do what they do, because they're a really good team. I think they might be a little underrated team. I really like their talent they have, and then Keontae, it's stud. You don't got to say much about him.
I think that when Paul and I were doing the game that day, we were talking about, we were really amazed at their offensive.
Oh, the point guard.
Their patience, on every possession. They get young kids to buy into that. Yeah. Well, I thought from first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter, they were that way. And that just talks a lot about, that coach there. I mean, Coach Miller, he's done, to get them to buy into that is just, in this day and age where Paul can attest, it's 94 feet. It's 95 feet.
95.
Up and down. It's, those guys get good shots and they're very patient in their offensive sets. And when you have those talented guards like they do, that's a mismatch, man.
Yeah, I forgot who the other one was that game. He had like 22 points. Wasn't Keontae or KJ, but yeah, like they got a lot of people and get them buckets and smart decision makers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
KJ Pruitt for Louisville. Now the guy for Hebron, you guys talked about Evan Anderson. Man,
Yeah.
Logan McLaughlin is the truth. And I mean truth. Well, we spell truth out here. TRUFF out here, baby. That dude there is no joke. Another one of my WBs. Hey, you ain't
That's
feeling me,
what
Parker. This kid right here.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Well,
I don't care what they say, Kenny. That dude got some brother mixed in here, man. The way he get off the ground, that dude is getting off the ground, man. I'm like, what? And can stroke it. Rex Chapman guy. Huh?
Let me ask you this, Paul, about Hebron a little bit. Don't you think that maybe that they've actually played a little bit better than maybe they should have played here? I mean, they had Bridges for only about 6 games there before he went off. They graduated players last year off of their team. Courtney Morrell, who's up in Nebraska, Omaha. I mean, they had their whole backcourt's gone. That was a very, very good backcourt. They kind of exceeded expectations from my standpoint here a little bit, and lost Coach Bishop, their head coach last year. He retires in the offseason. So, I think they've done extremely well. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to beat Louisville on Friday, but I mean, it's been a very good year for Hebron so far.
Yeah. I think they'll be in the game, but man, hey, Keontae George, KJ Pruitt, it ain't happening.
But
you know them 2 years there are special. And I'm going to be very, very surprised if Hebron gets that win. Hebron's in a must situation. They have to win this. It's kind of like when you back that cat in that corner. What that cat gonna do? Come out scratching and fighting to get out of that corner. You know what I'm saying? That's where they're at right now. So you got.
Yep. Well, hey, I know that there are so many other things I wanted to get to, but I know we kind of were our first, all over the map a little bit here with Drew and all that other stuff, and that's good. But, hey, I wanted to say I've got a couple of little quick shout-outs to some people that did great last night and on this past Friday. If you guys got anybody that you want to give a shout-out to or acknowledge, you can think about it. I'll kind of run through mine here, and then I'll open the floor to you guys, let you guys talk a little bit about it, and after that we'll kind of close it out. But, first thing I want to say first is that, hey, Mr. Hampton came back last night. He'd been out a couple games with a growing injury. 35 for him last night.
Yeah.
Gave the true frost while he was gone, Mr. Trey White. He scores 47 last Friday against Lake Dallas. Turns around and scores 29 last night. So you're giving Mr. Hampton another scoring option on that.
Time out. Did you say Trey White did 49 last night?
47 on Friday, 29 last night.
29. Oh, boy. Man, you have me going on Twitter right now. Kenny, you can stop playing, man.
Yeah, he had 29 last night. So you look at that already, and that backcourt's already scoring you almost 65 points. I mean, that does you some damage in the playoffs. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. RJ. I appreciate it. It's good. Hey, the Metroplex is better off when you're playing, not sitting over there in your sitting in your sweats on the sidelines. Also want to give a shout-out to Jaron Cook from Carrollton Newman Smith. Another 30-point game last night against Brian Adams. Had 33 against Conrad on Friday night, the game that Paul and I did. The guy's finding a stroke. He's finding a stroke. Just the 2020 guy, so he's going to be back next year. But he's starting to find it a little bit where he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to have to game plan for this guy going forward because – his body's matured. He's taking good shots during the games. I mean, I'm very impressed with Jaron Cook's game here lately. Got another shout out to Myra Gordon, 38 points for LSU last night. She got a free in the third overtime to beat Richland. Gives Bell they're sit atop now of their district now at 10-1.
Yes.
Been sitting in the sidelines of her sister Lexi Gordon for a long time, but Myra's starting to emerge from that shadow. I would say, just a little bit. She's putting her own stamp on that LD Bell record book over there. And, I mean, this is, I believe, her third game in a row now that she's had 30-plus points. I mean, she's a player and just a 2020 girl. So look out for her. And my last girls note I've got here is that Plano West with the big win over the 14th-ranked Prosper yesterday. Got to look out for Jaden Owens. She's a UCLA signing and a McDonald's All-American for Plano West. She had 25. She went up against Prosper, had Jordan Oliver. She's also a McDonald's All-American player. She had 19. So we had two McDonald's All-Americans going against each other last night.
I didn't know Owens with the Plano West.
Yes, Jada Owens, she had a sister that played for them for a number of years back also. So, I mean, Plano West, that district now is tied between Prosper and Allen now atop on there. That's a loaded district, too, for the girls' side. I mean, I know it doesn't get the pub to some of the guys over there, but that's a loaded district on the women's side. But, I mean, you don't obviously get a district game where you have two McDonald's All-Americans playing each other very often. So I wanted to make sure that those girls knew that we were paying attention to that. And I also want to give the last shout-out to Justin Northwest yesterday. They beat the Colony again. Third time they beat them out by 5 points now and 3 victories. The Colony's only lost 6 games this year. 3-2 Justin Northwest. And it was Mr. Smith last night. Jalen Smith had a big game for Justin Northwest. Julian. John said Jay. I'm thinking Jalen Wilson. My bad. Julian, I mean, he kind of put that team on his back early until the other guys kind of got situated in the flow of the game there. But he had a big game last night. Very impressed with his interview yesterday. Yes. Didn't take any of the bait from Paul trying to bait him on his competition at all. Didn't put any bulletin board material out there for any of his future opponents. Said it was all about Justin Northwest, even though his coach was sitting right next to him. Doesn't matter. He said everything right yesterday in his interviews. Yes, humble guy, shot the ball extremely well. If he plays like that with All-American Avery Anderson going to Oklahoma State, Justin Northwest, don't write them off just yet. They may make it back to San Antonio, and especially if the big boy, Mr. Freeman, plays like he did last night, stays out of foul trouble, 19 rebounds, 11 points. You get that in the middle from that guy, this team can be very dangerous. So those are my shout-outs. I'll go to you, Parker. If you got anybody, let me know, and shout out to America about it.
I got one shout out. Shout out to my alma mater, Lake Ridge, on getting a big win against Waxahachie last night. Shout out to Joey Madimba. Joey Madimba, 22 points last night. And a hard-fought victory over Waxahachie that came down to the wire.
Man, that district's a great district, man. There's a lot of good basketball in that district over there. And I know for us Dallasites, we may not get down there very far from the north to go see that. But that's some competitive basketball down there in your neck of the woods, buddy. What about you, Jarrett?
You know what? I'll say shout out, my alma mater, Geyer. Shout out to Davion. Shout out to Jalen Wilson, Timme guy, Jacoby Cole, Hey, y'all have what it takes to win it all, so do it. Go get it done.
For them, the last point about Geyer, I will say this. It's unfortunate it's this way. They have to win it. They have to win it this year for them to have a successful season. And that's high expectations to carry for a whole season.
No doubt.
I forgot. Did you shout out RJ?
Kind of hard.
I'll shout out RJ, too. I forgot if he did. Best player in the country. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, he lit him up. And then I'll have to talk to the czar of high school basketball. My man, Paul Miranda. I know you got several shout-outs, but, hey, you give me one of those underrated shout-outs for somebody here on our inaugural podcast here tonight.
I'm going to start off with Richland girls last night. We talked about the game that Maya Gordon had last night. 38 points, triple. Was it 3 overtimes? Was that 61-60 or 62-63? I can't remember what the final score was.
60, I thought it was.
Right. So I wanted first shout out to my boy Brian Gossett with Star Telegram and so forth. Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, 61-60.
Yep, great reporting from Mr. Gossett on that. Big shout out to him. He's a good friend of the Friday Night Glory .com crew. But the girl that kind of, that does what she does, and nobody really says a whole lot about it because She's an Asian. She's an Asian persuasion. And her name is Taylor Fong Dai Vong. Yeah.
I want you to do that. Say that 5 times real fast.
Hey, Taylor Fong Dai Vong. If I butchered it, I'm sorry. Richland, she had 26 points. Took some big some defensive charges on Maya Gordon. Kind of put Maya in some foul trouble. She took 3 charges on Maya G, Kenny. So why this young lady doesn't have anyone blowing her phone up right now? She has been consistent like this the whole season for Richland. College coaches, if you're looking at this on the women's side, you need to start paying attention to this young lady. The girl can shoot. She can get to the bucket. She handles the rock real well and distributes and defends. So I'm telling you, Taylor Fong Adai Vong. If I mess it up, hey, I gave my best shot. All right. So definitely want to shout out to the Creed Assassin, JJ Pearce is on. Drew Timme for coming on. That's my dude. Love that guy to death, man. You stole my one about Jaron Cook. 30-30, baby. That's an Urban DFW elite summer guys for the summer. We're going to be looking forward to putting him out on the circuit this year and proving some people wrong because he's a killer as well. RJ Hampton, man, what can you say, man? Glad to see him back. You know, that's my godson. Love that kid. We got to see more of you. And look at Jared. I said, whoa, oh, what? Yeah. All right. So anyway, Kimball Knights. The Kimball Knights took out Sock this weekend. So, I mean, yesterday I think that was, or was it tonight? I'm not sure. But they are pretty much securing that district. Who else? DeSoto. I'm not going to be a homer, Jared or Parker. I'm just going to say they're 9-0 in their district right now. And we just going to leave it at that, man. I'm going to leave it at that. From DeSoto this week, Duncanville versus J.J. Pearce. Who's going to win it, Kenny? Who you got?
I'm going to go with J.J. Pearce with the revenge game at home in one of the hottest gyms you'll ever be in, where it will be Fire Code Central tomorrow night. On Friday night. I can't wait. I think Mr. Timme's going to bring it home, even though I know Duncanville is very formidable. I am not underestimating that bunch out there because, man, they are balanced. I mean, as much as Randall should get the accolades, those other jokers in that starting lineup can put the ball in the bucket too. So I mean, it's going to be a tough task, but I'll tell you this: I can't wait for it.
No doubt. I gotta stay on the AAU tour right quick. Jamal Shedd of Maynard High School. He announced today that he's going to be playing with Drive Nation instead of Urban ASAC. Big shout out to him. This is almost AAU season because we like to say this is the recruiting time and so forth. I wanted to make sure that I did not forget that one right quick. Now, as far as the game, Kenny, the masked man better have his mask. I'm going to tell you that right now. I know he headed to Texas Tech and all that, but O.C. Crasson, Assassin, is ready to break somebody off because, trust me, he said it tonight. Hey, man, I hadn't forgot about them free throws. I tried to mess with him a little bit. You saw him. I said, hey, man, you missed both of them free throws. He said, no, I will split that. I split that. And I won't split it the next time. So I'm trying to tell y'all, if you are not going to be at that game, you better be watching it on FridayNightGlory.com because I guarantee you that is going to be the hottest show of the Friday night. That game right there. There cannot get another game that's any bigger than Duncanville versus J.J. Pearce. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Micah Peavy is going to be doing. What you doing, Parker?
I think it's followed down. Oh, I do want to give this. Hey, for the games we did last week, Coach Long, thank you for your accommodation with Friday Night Glory. We appreciate it. You've been great with that. Coach Bennett, did a great job there for Parker to come out that way. Coach Cleve last night for the Colony. More than a comment. Coach Percy Johnson for Newman Smith this past Friday. You were more than a comment. And Mark Johnson for Pearce. I know you've already taken care of this coming on this Friday. And also, I guess the underrated coach on there would be Coach Crawford, for the JV coach for I should say the assistant basketball coach for Newman Smith. He put the big stand out there for Paul and all of us, gives us chairs. He takes care of us at Newman Smith. So I want to let those guys know we really appreciate it. FNG does, because it makes it so much easier to do these games when they do that for us. So I don't want them to want to make sure that they know about that. Want to give a shout out to Parker Turley. Want to give a shout out to Jared. Want to give a shout out to my buddy Paul. I'll see you, Paul, on Friday. Hey, it was our first one. I know it went a little long. It won't go long next time. We'll get it a little bit more organized. Just hang in there with us. Give us a couple of weeks. We'll get this thing fine-tuned. We'll be good, but we appreciate you guys listening to us here on Friday Night Glory. We'll be out. We'll be back next week.
Tune in.
Deuces.
All right,
See ya.
guys. You did good. I know it went long, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out, though, man.
No problem.